Today I'm in Museu Sacaca, which is a free museum based on the sort of indigenous history of Amapa and Macapá. It seems like there's quite a lot to see in here, and they've explained to me in French, which is nice of them, and it does feel very Amazonian in here. This is the first stop in the museum, and this room is called Exhibition House. Looks like a hoarder lives in here. It actually looks like the living room back at home in England. Every year at Easter time in Amapa, the black people honour the Holy Trinity, the Catholic Holy Trinity, and behind me is the Marabaixo monument signifying this time of the year. So I'm in Macapá, and Amapa is the state in which it's in, and a lot of the research has shown that it's been intensely populated in the past, with lots of archaeological discoveries found in Maraca, Calçoen, Oiapoque and Pacuj. Behind me is a nut gatherer's house, which is a temporary house that the nut gatherers in the state of Amapa build temporarily during the 5-month period where they are nut gathering. The houses are made of wood using quaruba for the pillars and beams and tied with native vines such as meriti and sipotitica. They cover the house with straw on slats, and the floor is made with native woods like casqueira or paxiuba. There's some really nice trees in this museum as well. I'm now in the Casa da Farinha, the house of the cassava flour. This is where they prepare the flour, and the house is made of wood again, and this time it's covered in straw. The oven itself, you can see in the middle there, is made of mud with an iron plate in the middle. And the production of the flour involves the whole family, historically. When the cassava comes from the plantation, women peel the tubes and place it in clean water, or some of them actually grate it and then squeeze the pulp to obtain the juice. And women use the cassava mass to prepare porridge, cakes, biscuits, tapioca, and the men are responsible for drying the rest and using wooden sticks to stir and toss the flour until it dries. This totem pole behind me signifies a collection of different cultures from the Amazon regions, such as the Ture, the previously mentioned Marabaixo, and there's a square just behind it here, which has been painted, again to reflect the coming together of different communities. And the floor drawings on the square are inspired by the Amaru shield from the Palakua group, and they represent the native resistance of the traditional people. It is quite a, how can I put it, sensorial experience walking through these gardens. I have been bitten by a mosquito, so you get the authentic experience. And this is a different style house. It's called Casa Waihapi, and this is more of the Indian indigenous side of the Amazon. And you can see there's 2 floors there. It's made of wood. The lower floor is where they prepare the cassava, and the upper floor is where they sleep. On the side, just behind my head, there is a wooden staircase from the outside leading up to the top floor. And behind me here is another small structure from the Palakua indigenous community, and they use a material called wook for the floor. It's called paxiuba in Portuguese, and for the roof they use the leaves of palm trees. Locally they are called ohio. And behind me is the regatao, which is a floating market, and regatao refers to the kind of boat that it is and also the fact that it exchanges goods. So this boat would go into the indigenous communities in the Amazon, and they would exchange and sell their products, which could be food, it could be weapons, it could be medicine, and in return they would get things from the forest areas such as rubber, cocoa, seeds, fish, tar. So it's a kind of exchange that goes on, and this has gone back a long time in Brazilian history. And they would also give and take information from the indigenous communities. And I am now inside Tucucipan, Casa Indigena Wayana, and this is where the head of indigenous villages would live. When visitors come to the villages, they would be welcomed here and they would sleep here. They would also create the fermented drinks in this house. This is where meetings would be set up with the leaders of communities, and they would help organise communities and help them run efficiently. They would also do flutes, music playing in here, dancing in here, and the head and the partner of the head of the village would be buried here as well. And it's their responsibility as the leaders to build this house itself and maintain it as the Casa Indigena Wayapa. And this is what it looks like from the outside. And this is my first sighting of the infamous acai tree in Brazil. An acai is a berry grown on a palm tree, and it's very important to the Brazilian people. They use it in dishes with tapioca and shrimps and fried fish, but also by itself, acai bowls. This tree behind me is the Sacaca tree, which is what this museum is named after, and the leaves from the tree would be used to create extracts, pills, oils, and this would be used as medicine to help cure liver problems and intestinal problems in the indigenous communities in the past. That man on the bench I just took a picture with, here's some history. About Raimundo dos Santos Souza, who is that statue at the top of the stairs over there. So I'm at the museum and I've ordered some Tacaca, which is a tapioca based broth with shrimps inside. And it's quite a small portion, but I'll give it a go. It's shrimp with cassava, tapioca and chicory, and it's really sour because of the strained liquid from the cassava. The shrimp still has its shell on, which is fine by me because I'll just eat through the shell. It's very nice. And just on the way out you can see a big pestle and mortar and the champions of the first Amazonian Cup in 1975, Sporting Club Macapá.